Today my presentation will be on Franklin Industries and their whistleblowing case. We'll start out with an overview of the case. It starts out with Natalie filing a complaint to the HR department about an embezzlement issue that she thinks another employee in their department has. And the case starts out by her receiving a reply back from the HR department telling her that her case wasn't relevant and that they didn't see a need to pursue it any farther. And she was pretty upset about it because she thought that she had a legitimate case. The issue at hand was that they had found $5 million that had been wire transferred to a company by the name of Vic Construction, and nobody in the department had ever heard of that company, and so they were a little suspicious of that. Once she dug into it a little bit farther, she ended up finding out that Vic Construction was owned by Victoria King, which was Denny King's sibling, and Denny King is the department manager of the area where the money was transferred out of. And after Vic Construction received the money, it was later transferred out of Vic Construction to another company that Denny King owned. Next, the main arguments that Natalie has is, what work did Vic Construction do for Franklin Industries to receive that amount of money? And second, what company does Denny King own that the money was later transferred? It all seems a little unorthodox to be able to transfer money out to a company that nobody's heard of and then have it eventually end up back in your hands. Next, what is at stake? There's a lot at stake for Franklin Industries in general. They have $5 million that they could be receiving back because it was stolen from them, and they also have some job openings that could potentially become open depending on decisions made by employees and upper management. Natalie's job is obviously at stake. She was already demoted from assistant manager because of the complaint that she filed. And also Denny King's job is also at stake, and he could potentially be facing criminal charges as well. The next is the influences that influence this case. The main one is money, the $5 million that is in jeopardy. There's also better employees. Obviously, if Denny King is embezzling money from them, they don't want that type of employee working for them. And also another another influence is checks and balances within the company. This is a good opportunity for them to take a look at the influences within the company and be able to analyze the checks and balances they have to safeguard the assets in the company. Her best response is to go directly to the board and the CEO with her argument. She's already filed a complaint to them and received an answer, but going to them in person will be much more effective for her argument. Obviously, as we discussed, there's a lot of things at stake. There's a lot of money at stake, employees' jobs are at stake, and also analyzing the checks and balances. She needs to address this issue with them as soon as possible, mainly because the issue at hand can get slid under the table pretty easily, and she needs to be able to talk to them about the issues that Denny has before he erases the paper trail potentially that has been made with the transfers between companies. And lastly, does she have a case with the SEC? I would say she definitely does have a case with the SEC, especially because her job status changed after she filed a complaint. She was demoted from assistant general manager to a lower position, and also the amount of money is a significant amount where the SEC should probably be involved, and she could potentially get a percentage of that if it is received back into the company. Not that that should be her motivation, but it is something to think about. In the end, Natalie's best bet is to take her argument before the CEO and the board of directors as soon as possible. She has a legitimate case, and where her job status was affected by her decision to blow the whistle, if she isn't comfortable taking it before the board and the CEO, she should take it to the SEC and be protected by the Whistleblowing Act. She has a legitimate argument and has a right to have the company look further into it and decide whether or not they have money being stolen from them or not.